It's a bear. I think the coin got that one wrong. Good morning, and yes, it's actually a good morning today, and this is me, Brian. My voice is back mostly. Took the advice from all my great watchers out there of everything. Well, I didn't do the whiskey, but everything from vodka to pepper to honey to colloidal silver to eating well, and I think it's gone. I think I got rid of it. Nasty head cold for sure. Don't know if it was anything more than that, but I don't really care at this point. Take a look at this. None of the underwater cameras were working really well, so I decided to pull up Robbie's Marina, which is, any of you been down to Florida Keys, this place is like an iconic spot. You can go there and you can feed what they call feeding the tarpon, and there's tons. You can see the fins of the tarpons. You see them right here popping up under the water. That's their tail fins and their fins. Some of these things, there you go, see them right there splashing around. These things are like 6 feet, 8 feet long, man. They're just absolutely huge, and they look kind of got a prehistoric look to them as well. Big, large silver scales, and one of the toughest fighting fish down here. It's a very coveted, except you can't fish near here anywhere. Robbie's doesn't like you fishing where they have people feeding these tarpon. And take a look, he's going to drop a few pellets in there for the if the pelicans don't get it first, they're trying to get it to the tarpon down there. However, if you're ever in South Florida, you definitely have to make the drive down to Key West or back, or at least to Robbie's, and to feed the tarpon here. Well, let's move into markets. I'm going to be sipping off the coffee here quite a bit, because even though I'm like 80% with my voice, I still got a tiny bit to go. And we'll leave Robbie's here and move into my quote of the day, which is, I'll let you read it first. I'll take a sip of coffee before I do it. I'll try to do it my best Dwight D. Eisenhower voice. Ready? The supreme quality for leadership is unquestionably integrity. Without it, no real success is possible, no matter whether it is on a section gang, a football field, in an army, or in an office, or a business, or at home. I'm going to just keep adding to Mr. Eisenhower's quote here. Absolutely true, folks. You know, leadership is all about integrity, unquestionable integrity. You don't follow people you don't trust, all right? You don't listen to people you don't trust. Well, unfortunately, that's not the case. We occasionally do listen, and we occasionally do follow people that we think we trust, all right? However, as you start to question yourself and you question others, you know my quote at the end of this video. I always talk about, always question authority and think for yourself. And if you don't do that, you can be fooled. You can be fooled. It's easy to be fooled, and we see a lot of that. Most of it out of pure laziness, people unwilling to go out and do the work and research stuff. Just take for a lot of folks, including myself, growing up. I mean, as a kid, you have no choice but to listen to your parents, and that's not a bad thing. Again, I'm not saying listening to your parents is a bad thing, but the narrative that we all get, the narrative that we live with, the narrative that we believe in life, we don't get it from ourselves, folks. We get it from our surroundings, from our parents, from our schooling, from news. And this is why I've always said, question your own narrative. It's very important. And when you start to question your own narrative, you also start to question the integrity of others and yourself as well, I guess. Great place to start is always with yourself. And why did I bring this up? Well, we'll get into that in a little bit. It's all about integrity, folks. And again, whether it's a business, whether it's an office, that's what leadership is, unquestionable integrity. Let's take a look at markets today. Just crazy the last couple days. We haven't seen the smackdown that I kind of somewhat expected here below that $1,900 mark. I mean, the times, they are a-changing, that's for sure. And I believe that the commodities markets are, I think there's a possibility if we see a big failure in markets, this might be in the commodities markets. Lehman Brothers took the entire system down back in 2008. They kind of took the system down. The system was there to be taken down. So you can't really blame Lehman, so to speak. The system allowed that kind of shit to happen, all right? And the system still allows that kind of stuff to happen. But I believe that the next failure we're going to see is going to be in the commodity markets. And it's not going to be a layman. It's going to be a CME probably. And again, my opinion. Again, not unlike LME did with the big nickel issue they had. By the way, we're going to get it to an we're going to get it to an article that Ted Butler wrote here in a little bit. I want to read. It's a public article, so it's anyone can read it. It's not part of his, I guess it's a paid-for deal, but he did publish it. And again, look at gold, 1977 right now, a high in 1981, nearing that $2,000 mark, which I think is really good. However, I just haven't seen the takedowns that we expected. You know, I've always been saying for quite some time is that when you don't see the takedowns, it's kind of like an abused pet or an abused child or something. I don't mean that's probably a stupid way to bring it up, but you're just wondering when you're going to get that smack in the back of the head and that abusiveness. And we haven't seen it yet from coming on the COMEX markets yet with any big takedowns that have lasted more than a short period, what I call slingshots. Look at 25.38 on silver right now. We're holding on to that $25 level. I'm pretty impressed. 25.77 is the high, 25.66 currently. So we're kind of sitting in the middle here. And excuse me one second, another sip of coffee. My voice still is not 100%, but way better than it was yesterday. One sec. Platinum, 983.90, still hasn't hit that $1,000 mark. Wow, what a very unloved metal. Probably the most unloved precious metal out there right now. And when is the best time to buy a commodity? When it's in its most unloved state. I believe I'm correct on this, but again, let me know what your opinion is, because that's my opinion, in the comment section below. Platinum, low 969, a high of 990. Look at that low, man. I kind of wish I had hit that yesterday, but I was very busy, not feeling well, running a store, trying to do videos. You know how that goes. So let's take a look at the 24-hour charts. I mean, markets are looking really healthy right now. We haven't seen, which is good as well, we haven't seen these huge jumps upward, all right? Which only, you know, especially with silver, we haven't seen any huge dollar jumps. It's been an incremental jump to take us to this 25.66 where you are right now. And all the monkey hammering down that we have seen hasn't lasted long. It makes you wonder what's going on with these big commercial short positions out at COMEX. You know, is CME kind of stepping in and saying, all right, guys, you can't do this anymore. The gig's up. Did the CME or people finally decide, hey, this could be another nickel market? Ted Butler makes the case that silver could make that nickel default look like a cakewalk. You know what I mean? So, and that being the case brings my idea of, you know, where could the next big default be in the COMEX markets for the United States that sets everything tumbling. You know, people forget how important commodity markets are, or the CME actually is to the economy, like NASDAQ and like these other markets. All right, let's move into the 24-hour charts here and see what's going on. 25.64, 25.74 is Kitco's bid. And take a look at this. Our upward trend movement has been primarily today in the New York, well, hold on, is it? Yeah, it looks like it's, oh no, started earlier this morning. Markets for gold are just, oh, that's silver. Oh my gosh. Speaking out of turn there. Silver, I got my silver and gold mixed up. Let me put my gold chart here. But the same thing what I was just going to say about gold applies to silver as well. The markets overall are looking very, very strong. Gold market looking very strong. I mean, just it's been tenaciously hanging on to this $1,900 mark for quite some time, and we have seen some monkey hammering going down. You know, there's probably short contracts trying to limit their losses, so to speak, and especially with silver, one of the most manipulated markets in the CRIMEX markets, I believe. But lots of strength, man, in gold and silver markets for last 3 weeks or so. And again, not jumping up dramatically, just incremental strength. And I like that. I like that, even though we see the pullbacks. I'm fine with taking 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. And then, you know, every once in a while you're going to get a 3-step forward and no steps back here, and that's kind of where we're going right now. Silver, same thing. I really do like the strength in silver right now. We're at that above $25 level. Take a look at yesterday, though. Looks like it did get, that was yesterday's market, obviously. Tuesday, got monkey hammered early in the morning and then shot back up during the CRIMEX hours between, 8:20 and 1:30 or whatever it is, and then steadies out from there. So Silver being bid up dramatically right here, and again, it makes you wonder what's going on with those short positions that Ted talks about, the big commercial shorts. They're in for heavy losses if these silver prices continue to climb upward. I mean, heavy. I'm talking about billions and billions of dollars, 12 billion. Bank of America owning that $800 million ounce short position of silver, more than a year's mine supply that they actually have to pay back. What implications does that have if this market continues to climb upward? Has BOA have they hedged themselves in a different way? I don't know how you would do that with 800 million ounces a year supply of silver, especially physical stuff. But no less, boy, there's some crazy shit going on there. And I believe commodities is going to take down these markets across the board, because you can't have a NASDAQ, you can't have a Dow, you can't have an S&P without commodities, okay? That's just a fact. Speaking of commodities, let's take a look and see what's going on right now. U.S. Across the board, just flat. You know, that ain't nothing. That ain't shit for commodities markets. And I believe the only reason they're kind of just barely hanging on there, I am in the strong belief that yes, like silver markets are monkey hammered by big commercial banks that CME allows to do it. I also believe that the commodity markets, Dow Jones, SP, NASDAQ, are being supported by the presidential or the plunge protection team, which is the presidential working group, which is a little cabal of between the president's people, the Treasury, and the Federal Reserve, and they can go out there, they can go in there and bail out markets, do whatever they want in complete secrecy. You'll never know about it. Most of us won't. And I believe that is the truth, and that's the truth, and I'm sticking to it. No less, market sideways there. Let's look at crypto, which was supposed to be the next gold, better than gold. And what's it doing? I'm surprised myself. I thought that Bitcoin would fare way better than this in this particular type of environment, but it's not. And it's kind of what I've been saying for a long time, is that Bitcoin, if it was allowed to exist, it would exist at some point simply as a glorified money market somehow, you know. Now, I know a lot of people are not going to be happy with me saying that, but what happened to the price of Bitcoin here, folks? And it's not even following the NASDAQ at all. It went down yesterday with a stronger stock market, but that's speculative that the Bitcoin is following NASDAQ anyway. It just seemed that way for quite some time. But no less, certainly not the next gold by its performance, factual performance this year. Let's see what happens for the rest of the year. Okay, my prediction, long-term, gold is never going back down, all right? And that's a bold statement, but absolutely freaking correct. And so is this, nor is silver. I had to add my winky eye thing there. And let's take a look why. Why is gold and silver never going back down? Well, first off, you know one thing, gold and silver is never going to go bankrupt. It's been around for 5,000 years. It's out-survived. It's survived. Out-survived, is that a good word to use? Every empire, every fiat currency, every corporation, you name it, gold and silver has been around for 5,000 years as a use of exchange and trade. So that's one good reason. Well, probably the most important reason. It's got history, man. History. And you know what we were talking about? What is history? What does the history of gold and silver have? It has integrity, all right? It's got leadership. And gold and silver are extreme integrity, unquestionable integrity, all right? Getting back into the Dwight D. Eisenhower saying, it even applies to the price of gold and silver. And where was I right here? And okay, nor is silver. Right. I was going to go into these are other reasons. Here's the data that backs up my claims that gold and silver is never going back down. And when I say go back down, gold and silver is never going back down. Let me get your opinion on this. Put it in your comment section. I don't think we'll ever see $1,000 gold again unless they reprice currency somehow. I don't think we're ever going to see. I'm going to be so bold to say I think the days of $1,500 gold, unless we have a complete economic crash across the board, which could happen, a flash crash could send the paper price of gold down to $1,500, but I don't think we're ever going to see $1,500 gold again either, folks. My opinion, I don't think we're ever going to see $20 silver again at some point here in the near future. But again, in a flash crash situation, which could still happen, especially in this volatile environment, it's possible. But no less, I am certain we're never going to see $12 and $15 silver ever again. So I mean, those days are gone and past, and I'm probably being super conservative. And besides that, let me know what you think in the comment section. What do you think gold and silver price, the maximum that we'll never see again? Let me know in the comment section what your opinion is. Take a look at this too. This is the inflation index. Close your eyes because you're going to get seasick or whatever, motion sickness when I do this. Ready? There you go, and we're going to go back to the top of the page. And what am I looking at? I'm looking at the United States Misery Index. How miserable do you feel? Yesterday and the day before, I didn't feel too good, but my misery index it wasn't that high. It's just a freaking head cold. I'm not going to complain about it. And let's take a look down here. We go down the bottom page, make you dizzy again, and let's take a look why gold and silver are going to continue to climb and why I made my very bold statements right here that says that long-term gold is never going back down, nor is silver, and we have the data to prove it right here. Overall, I don't think we're ever going to see the misery index much lower in the next 5 or 6 years. I just can't see it. Think about this. Unless the current administration actually gain some integrity, unless the presidents gain integrity, unless Congress and the Senate gain integrity, unless the world leaders all over the world, from France, Canada, Europe, UK, Australia, you name it, until there's some integrity in the offices and in the agencies that run the world, and in the banking system. We had it. We still got a shred of integrity with the Federal Reserve, but until we get integrity back into our systems, we're screwed. That's why gold and silver will continue to climb. All these major countries are empires in decline, and their currencies are proof of that. Let's take, again, misery index climbing. Look at this for Joe Biden. Census starting at a 7.7. Again, this is employment levels right here. You see this blue? This is employment levels. That means employment, the higher the blue line, the more the unemployment. The lower the blue line, less unemployment. And as you know, we've got employment issues out there. And I believe there's still, I don't trust this line necessarily because there's not many people out there available for work, probably because, well, anyway, I'm not going to get into that. But take a look at the inflation line, and that's the big killer. That's going to be the big killer for this administration and why they will likely not make it into their second presidency. And then it's also likely why the midterms are going to be a major flip-flop. I'm pretty certain of that. Unless the integrity of the elections unless there's integrity issues with the elections, which is an extreme possibility because I thought we had a lot of smoke, potential fire in the last ones. All right, if you get my drift there. Let's move along. Why? And there's another reason why gold and silver continue to go up. Integrity, integrity, integrity across the board. Trust, trust, trust. And people know they can trust gold and silver. That hard yellow metal, that hard white metal that's been around for 5,000 years, that can't be man-made, only made by imploding stars, folks. You can't cheat that. That's integrity. Let's take a look at the consumer price index for all urban consumers. There's another reason why the price of gold is not going to go down. Because look at this line. This is 1 year, folks. This is just tragic. Take a look at this. Your buying power of the dollar. Your average buying power of the dollar. Look at that. That line is just almost like a slide at Disney World. Whatever you call it, one of those water slides at the water park. That's just a downward trajectory. I haven't seen that in a long time. Take a look at the max chart here, though. And as you can see, it's been downhill since the Fed took over. A lot of bumps created by wars and other things right there, but overall, downward. Wars are generally good for the economy. Think about that. Always have been, and maybe that's why people are pushing for a big war now. All right, a big global war. Kills a lot of people, causes the economy to do well. Rich get richer, poor get dead, and the working class just work harder for less. And that's what war really means. Give me 1 second here. Losing my voice there a little bit. Sorry about that. And I'm going to do one more sip of coffee because that was a long one. Gold prices. I haven't looked at these charts in a while. And Macro Trends got the best freaking charts out there, man. Take a look at this. You can go there and look at these charts for free. I haven't been on them for a while. Bad on me, because there's a lot of cool stuff here that we can always talk about. One of the things I want to look at, because people are talking about oil so much, and Russia is talking about gold for oil. Hey, what's that chart look like? Gold prices versus oil prices. Well, here you go. Seems that the two are moving in random right now. And let's take a look at the oil at $100 a barrel, gold at $19.53, both on the uptake. Take a look at that. I mean, gosh darn, folks, that's almost moving and that's almost synchronous. Take a look at this. Again, I haven't looked at this in a while, but my gosh, except for that right there. And that's probably when the president announced that he's going to open up the supplies of what is our strategic supplies, which would cut, that knocked the price down maybe for a day or so. But look at these lines; they're very, very similar in many ways here since 2014. Gold and oil, very interesting. In fact, gold and oil seem to run in tandem pretty much with each other. Again, commodities. What do they have in common? They're commodities, folks. And you can't have an S&P 500. You can't have a Dow Jones. You can't have a NASDAQ without commodities. And here you go. And one of the reasons these markets have done so well over the years, one of the reasons that the United States has done so well is because we've enjoyed the sweet success of cheap commodities worldwide. All right. Let me take a look at something else here real quick, which is the real yields. Which is this chart is kind of BS if you think about it. Love long-term trend charts, but gold versus real yields here. The problem with this chart, and it's based on official data, is that it's based on official data. We all know that the official inflation rates that they use, and again, this chart uses the official inflation rates, are dramatically off. So you can pretty much expect that this line, you see the black line they show, the 10-year yields right now are at minus, basically maybe minus 0.12% of the less than gaining a real yield, or actually breaking even. But that's substantially less based on what we know. And the price of gold continues to climb. Again, what did I say? Gold and silver outlive all empires and all fiat currencies. All right, that's my assessment on that. Let's take a look at what the best deals out there are. Let me take another sip of coffee before my throat gets dry here. One sec. Gold, in-stock gold coins. I'm telling you, folks, there's no shortage of gold out there that I'm aware of. If you take a look at all the I like to use JM Bullion. People say, Brian, why do you're a coin shop. You're a guy that sells gold and silver. Why do you actually show them up there? Is that helping you at all? Yeah, actually it is, because I can beat the prices of JM Bullion, and I encourage local coin shops to do the same. They are the 800-pound gorilla out there. And again, they're good company. But my motto is, if you have a local company you can deal with, they can give you the same prices or better. You're going to get better service. And not that JM Bullion isn't bad people, or SD, APMEX, or the biggies like those guys. But again, you get face-to-face service with your local dealer, and you may have to sell this stuff sometime, but no less, I'll beat their prices on a lot of these products right here. And I digress, okay? And if you live in my area here in South Florida, you can come in our store, and we've got better deals than JM does for sure. And again, they're a good company, nothing wrong with them. As far as if you don't live in my area, I encourage you to find a local dealer if you don't have one already. And if you live out in the middle of nowhere, and you have to buy, I believe you can trust these guys. No issue there whatsoever. Big corporate public company. Best deals out there are still gold bars. They're definitely not Eagles. However, Eagles are more reasonable, and so are Buffaloes, than they have been in the past. Premiums aren't too awful. If you remember, at one time they were up to $200. However, the premiums on silver have not changed. By the way, before I leave this page, my recommendation is sticking with 1-ounce gold bars, because you could buy a 1-ounce gold bar and 2 ounces of silver for the same price you could buy a Buffalo or an American Gold Eagle. Let's take a look at silver. Best deals out there. Silver in stock. Let's see what JM's got out there. Best deal are still their 100-ounce bars. And no wonder they can have them so cheap. Look at that. Boy, that tells you, though, they're not spending any time in production with these 100-ounce bars, because take a look at that. That is ugly as shit. But it's real, and it's a 100-ounce bar, and who cares what it looks like? It is the cheapest thing they have on their website. That's what I'd recommend. And they got them on sale to boot, folks. So And again, I'll beat their prices on this stuff. Not a big deal. Well, I don't have that ugly 100-ounce bar right there. So let's see what they actually sell. I got Balcombis. I don't see Balcombis on here. And Johnson Matthey's. Unfortunately, I don't have those really El Cheapo bars that they got right there. But no less, that is the best deal out there, 100-ounce bars at your local corn stores. Or if you live in South Florida and you're coming to see me, it's the best deal here as well. 10-ounce and 1-ounce would be the second best deals out there. Everything else is overpriced. And if my voice changed a little bit, I just stuck one of those Hall's menthol lip disc things in my mouth. I'm clacking around in my teeth here. 1 second. Let me take a sip of coffee as well. Where am I going from here? Well, I'll tell you where I'm going from here is The Real Lesson of LME Nickel. This is by Ted Butler, April 11th. Highly recommend you read it. And if you want me to read it to you, let me see how long it is. All right. I don't know, man. Let me see. That's probably a bit long for me to read. Basically, here's what I'm going to say: is Ted? This is an article that he actually paid, part of his paid subscription fee. Do me a favor, type in your Google search, The Real Lesson of LME Nickel. It's under goldseek.com is where he placed that. But again, The Real Lesson of LME Nickel by Ted Butler should pop up on your search engine. Take it, read this article. Excellent. Ted Butler is the man when it comes to silver, right? And he basically talks about the nickel market and what happened, the culprit, who it was, the head of the Chinese steel nickel producer of this Tinxing holding group, held a short position in LME nickel. But he explains what happened. What is more interesting is Ted explains that how this is a fraction of what is going on in the CME silver markets, okay? The CME silver markets are set up for such a potential huge problem, and right here, Ted says, Tinshan was one of the largest, if not the largest producer of nickel in the world, meaning there was a reasonable case of assuming it was legitimately hedged and not speculating wildly, which is the big difference between what's going on in the silver markets right now, if I may add in there, where you got big commercial banks shorting silver, but they're not hedging. At least Xingshan was hedging more than likely, okay? So the fact that it ran into serious trouble on the run-up in nickel prices proves even a legitimate hedger can run into real trouble when too heavily short. If Bank of America is short 100% of the annual world silver mine production in the OCC report and can't possibly consider it a legitimate hedger, it's not. Is that not a situation that regulators should be all over? This is why you need to read Ted Butler, whether you have to pay for it or not. And again, if you're in the silver and gold business, and especially if you're a YouTube talking head out there and you're talking about silver and gold, if you're not subscribed to Ted Butler when it comes to silver, you really don't know what's going on. He nails it right here. If Bank of America is short 100% of the annual world silver mine production, and they're not a legitimate hedger, they are in for serious potential pain if silver does not go down in price. All right, and Ted also mentions down here, and I encourage you to read the whole article here. It's free. You don't have to pay for this one, folks. It's worth reading. Let's face it, if a concentrated short position nickel caused the eventual run-up in prices to the point where they doubled and tripled in a matter of a few days, this is nickel, folks, causing the exchange to bust trades and effectively default, what do you suppose the price reaction will be in silver? Heavy question. He's absolutely correct. With a concentrated short position anywhere from 10 times more than 20 times larger, when the concentrated short position is eventually reckoned with. Wonderful article. You got to read it today. Put it on your to-do list, if I may recommend. All right, I'm going to move into some different stuff. This is political and economics. Some of you may not like this. From here, we've talked about gold and silver, but politics and economics is an important part of where gold and silver is going, because why? Integrity. When you lose integrity, gold and silver shines the most, okay, because gold and silver has the ultimate integrity, and that's what we got going on here. So warning, folks, I'm going to show you a video here that shocked the shit out of me. I've always thought they were making fun of this guy because of he just seems a little bit dopey and older, but man, this is the guy with his finger on the trigger, and listen to this. I was blown away by this. Ready?
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was in the foothills of the Himalayas with Xi Jinping, traveling with him.
What?
Traveled 17,000 miles when I was vice president. I don't know that for a fact.
What the F did that man just say? He absolutely just his neurons were not firing and went to a totally different place. My God, this is our world leader, folks. And I saw this, and what's even sadder is Saudi TV. Now remember, this is Saudi television here. Oops, sorry, I'm going to roll back there. Saudi television mocking the U.S. administration. This is Saudis would have never allowed this on their television system if they had any respect for this current administration, which they don't. But no less, not even going to go there. That's an attempt at humor right there. But I don't see this as humorous too much. I see this as a decline of an empire, especially when your leaders and your politicians worldwide, not just in this country, have pretty much zero integrity, folks. I don't know if you can say negative integrity, but that's probably about right. All right, let me move out of there. Again, what was that? What was he saying, man? He is not even coherent anymore. This is pretty sad, and it makes us look really bad as a country, folks. The last guy was a real piece of work, but no less. Again, remember, I didn't vote for either side. Actually, I'm a long-term libertarian, and I know I'm going to get a few knocks for that. But my philosophy in life is I don't care what you do with your life. As long as you don't harm anyone or make me pay for it, okay? That's my philosophy in life. Harm no one, don't make me pay for it. Do as you please. And I'm for any government, left, right, whoever, that follows that credo. Anyways, let's take a look at nothing good there, man. Nothing good there. Let's take a look and see if there's any gold or silver articles in 0 ZH. Not too much, just the typical nonsense. In fact, I'm going to kind of pop out of here real quick because, again, we could delve into this stuff, but this video would just be long, and then I won't have any voice left for the rest of the day. Well, what else is going on? That's about it, folks. Yesterday's video was, I felt a lot better yesterday, and I feel a hell of a lot better today. I'd like to thank everybody that, I got a couple comments here. Someone had made a couple comments here, but most of the comments were saying, "Hey Brian, how you feeling? Hope you're feeling better." And sounds like I was under attack. Really appreciate all the folks that were wishing me well to get better and letting me know what the best cure was. Johnny Boy did ask me my opinion on trading American Silver Eagles for Jack bars or bullion. I would encourage it for sure. The premium on ASCs are just absolutely stupid, and I would not buy American Silver Eagles at all. If you own them, you don't have to trade them right now, but there's a good opportunity to turn your Silver Eagles into more ounces, which is kind of interesting because another gentleman up here, Restamond Linden, remember when the notion that should have sold my Eagles for an ounce or two more weight of generic was floating around as a great strategic ploy? Yes, that is my strategic ploy. I actually was probably one of the only guys on YouTube that was recommending that a couple times in the last few years and of recent as well. It's a wonderful play because Silver Eagles, I mean, what's the attachment to a Silver Eagle, folks? The fact that they're made in America, hey, I like that too. They're pretty coins, yeah, it's a great product, yeah. But when the premium, we're in this for product and money. We're in this for silver. We're not in this what design is on that silver, okay? So if you can convert Silver Eagles, if you can take 100 Silver Eagles and get yourself back 105 ounces of generic silver or whatever, you're better off for it. Because in the long run, when silver makes the big move up, that premium did you jack shit. Nothing at all. So sorry to say that for people that love Silver Eagles, but it's true. I'm happy I kept my Silver Eagles and simply kept stacking. That's cool, though. I mean, I'm not saying that you should have to sell them. You should, but you would have ended up with more silver, which ultimately is far better off for you, your economics, your family, and everyone else. More silver, less premium. And again, it's simple, folks. Just think about it. It's logical. Well, hey, that's it. I'm going to go to my quote of the year, which is think for yourself and question authority. And From there, we're going over to the end of the video. Hey, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. If you live in South Florida, I'm the guy to see when it comes to gold, silver, and platinum and precious metals. I also do rare coins. We own a estate jewelry business as well that does other things. So keep me in mind on those things as well. Maybe we'll start doing some videos and some other cool stuff. But meanwhile, we're open 10 to 4 Mondays through Fridays. Call us anytime. We advertise to be at MexJMSD Bullion for their cooler. When I say cooler, I mean they're more reasonably priced products. Okay, I'm not into stocking overpriced crap that a lot of sites sell. I'm just going to sell you the good stuff, and I can beat their prices on the good stuff. If you don't live in South Florida, you need to find yourself a good local dealer for a couple reasons. Keep that money local, and at some time you're going to have to sell that stuff. So that's my recommendations, and I'm sticking with it. Hey, thanks for the get well wishes, and appreciate everyone watching. Have yourself a great day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye now.